Have you ever wondered why so many younger women pull away the moment an older guy tries to impress them? Why is it that sometimes, no matter how much life experience, wisdom, or stability a man brings, he still ends up being seen as unattractive, sometimes even pitiful in the eyes of younger women? This is not about age. This is not about money. This is about habits. Subtle, often unconscious, unattractive habits that younger women notice instantly, and habits that destroy attraction faster than anything else. And the truth? These are habits you might not even realize you're carrying around. But here's the good news. If you can spot them, you can eliminate them. If you can eliminate them, you can transform not just how younger women see you, but how you see yourself. Because as Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." And living, truly living, means being aware of the small things that shape the way others respond to you. So before we dive in, let me say this. If you're serious about improving your love life, about understanding women at a deeper level, and about mastering yourself, then subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and stay with me until the very end of this video, because what I'm about to share is not just about women. It's about building a life of dignity, attraction, and strength. All right, let's get into it. Habit 1. Acting like a show-off instead of a stoic. There's a story about an older man in his late 40s who walked into a cafe with a younger woman he was trying to impress. He leaned back in his chair, puffed his chest, and started talking loudly about his business, his travels, his connections. Every sentence was a subtle way of saying, "Look at me. Look at how important I am." But if you watched closely, the younger woman's eyes told the truth. She wasn't impressed. She wasn't leaning in. She wasn't captivated. She was bored. Why? Because younger women, and honestly, people in general, don't respect the man who tries too hard to validate himself. They respect the man who doesn't need to. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That line captures it perfectly. Attraction doesn't come from proving. It comes from being. The unattractive habit many older men fall into is the need to showcase their achievements, as if they're afraid the younger woman won't see their value unless it's spelled out in neon lights. But here's the paradox. The louder you talk about your value, the less valuable you appear. Imagine two men at a party. The first talks endlessly about how much money he's made, how many people he knows, how many places he's been. The second man, quiet and composed, doesn't brag at all. But people still gather around him, curious. Why? Because he's centered. His energy doesn't scream insecurity, it radiates calm. That's what Marcus Aurelius practiced as a Stoic emperor. He could have flaunted his position, demanded admiration. But instead, his writings are full of humility, reminders to himself to stay grounded, to focus on his duty, to avoid the trap of vanity. So if you're an older guy trying to connect with a younger woman, remember this. Showing off doesn't pull her closer, it pushes her away. Here's the shift. Instead of trying to prove you're impressive, embody calm confidence. Instead of telling her how successful you are, show her how present you can be in a single conversation. Instead of filling silence with your resume, let silence breathe and let her curiosity do the work. Because women, especially younger women, don't fall for the resume. They fall for the presence. And nothing kills presence faster than the need to show off. Habit 2. Acting desperate for validation. Picture this. An older man meets a younger woman at a dinner party. She laughs at one of his jokes, and instantly, he lights up like a child who's just been praised. He leans in, eager for more approval, constantly checking her reaction with every word he says. At first, she smiles politely, but then her smile starts to fade. She senses it, the desperation. You see, desperation isn't always loud. Sometimes it's hidden in the subtle need for reassurance. It's in the way you watch her eyes to see if she's impressed. It's in the way you try to make her laugh again and again. Not because the moment calls for humor, but because you crave the confirmation that she likes you. And here's the truth. Nothing is more unattractive than neediness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Validation is an outside event. It's something you can't control. The more you rely on it, the weaker you appear. The stronger you cling to it, the faster it slips away. Younger women can sense when a man is centered within himself, and when he's fishing for their approval. The first inspires respect. The second inspires pity. Let me tell you a story from one of my friends. He's in his 50s, confident, successful, but humble. He once told me, the best advice I ever got was to stop chasing reactions and start enjoying the conversation itself. And that's exactly what shifted everything for him. When he stopped trying to prove himself, women, especially younger women, felt safe and intrigued in his presence. Desperation for validation is like perfume sprayed too heavily. It overwhelms and suffocates. Confidence, on the other hand, is like natural scent. It draws people in without trying. So here's the key. When you feel that itch for approval, pause. Ask yourself, am I seeking her reaction or am I enjoying the moment? The man who enjoys the moment radiates freedom. The man who seeks constant validation radiates chains. And no woman, younger or older, wants to step into someone else's chains. Habit 3, talking down to her instead of talking with her. Let's flip the script for a second. Imagine a younger woman is speaking passionately about something, maybe a new project she's excited about, maybe a dream she's chasing. And the older man she's talking to interrupts with a smirk and says, "Oh, you'll understand when you're older." Or, "That's cute, but real life doesn't work that way." Or, worst of all, "I've been around longer than you, so trust me, I know better." Now in his mind, he's offering wisdom. In her mind, he's dismissing her. Nothing shuts down attraction faster than condescension, because what it communicates is not experience but arrogance. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man of his time, wrote in his Meditations, "It is possible to be strict with yourself and tolerant with others." That's the lesson. The older man who truly holds wisdom doesn't flaunt it as superiority. He shares it as an equal. He doesn't dismiss the enthusiasm of youth. He honors it. When you talk down to a younger woman, what you're really saying is, "I don't respect your perspective." And respect is the foundation of attraction. Without respect, there is no trust. Without trust, there is no connection. Here's the irony. Many older men think younger women want a father figure. They don't. They want a partner who respects them as an equal, while guiding with quiet strength. Think of the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. They all understood that true wisdom is never condescending. True wisdom listens first. So the next time you find yourself about to say, "You'll understand when you're older," stop. Instead, lean in and say, "That's an interesting perspective. Tell me more." Do you see the difference? One shuts her down. The other opens her up. And opening her up, emotionally, mentally, is the pathway to attraction. Because younger women don't hate older men because of age. They hate them when age turns into arrogance. But when age turns into humility and presence, that's when admiration grows. Habit 4. Clinging to youth instead of owning your age. There's a story I'll never forget. An older man, late 40s, maybe early 50s, walks into a bar wearing skinny jeans, a graphic t-shirt with a band logo from the 90s, and a baseball cap turned backward. He sits next to a younger woman and starts talking about TikTok trends, dropping slang he clearly picked up online. Now at first glance he might think he's blending in. But the truth? He looks like a parody of himself. And here's the thing, this isn't about clothes or slang. It's about energy. It's about desperately clinging to youth instead of owning the richness of age. Younger women can spot it instantly when an older man refuses to accept his stage of life, and instead of admiration they feel secondhand embarrassment. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Be good for something while you live, and it is in your power." What's he saying? Stop pretending you're something you're not. Stop wasting time chasing illusions. Live with dignity, with presence, with authenticity. Older men who are most attractive to younger women aren't the ones trying to act 25 again. They're the ones who embrace where they are in life and wear it with confidence. Let me give you an example. I once met a man in his mid-50s. He wasn't trying to look young. He didn't dye his hair to hide the gray. He dressed simply but sharply. When he spoke, he didn't try to sound like he was in the know about the latest trends. Instead, he carried himself with calm, timeless confidence. And you know what? Younger women found him magnetic. Not because he was trying to be them, but because he was fully himself. The unattractive habit is pretending. The attractive alternative is owning. If you're older, own your experience, own your wisdom, own your scars. That's your strength. That's what younger women respect. Because here's the paradox. The moment you stop clinging to youth, is the moment youthfulness radiates naturally from you. Habit 5. Neglecting your health and appearance. Let's get brutally honest. You can have wisdom, you can have stability, you can have presence, but if you've let your body completely go, if you've neglected the basics of health and appearance, then all of that gets overshadowed. Picture this: an older man on a date with a younger woman. He complains about being tired all the time, orders heavy food, talks about how he used to be in great shape, and then jokes that getting old sucks. Meanwhile, his posture slumps, his clothes don't fit, and his skin shows the cost of years of neglect. Now, is age the problem? No, it's the neglect. Because younger women don't expect you to look 25. They expect you to respect yourself enough to take care of yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Because your own strength is unequal to the task, do not assume it is beyond the powers of man. But if anything is within the powers and province of man, believe that it is within your own compass also." Taking care of your health is always within your compass. Eating better, exercising, dressing with intention, sleeping enough. These are within your control. And here's the truth: neglect communicates disrespect. If you neglect your body, your hygiene, your energy, it signals that you don't value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, why should she? I once had a mentor, an older man in his 60s, who said something that stuck with me. You don't stop taking care of yourself because you're old. You get old because you stop taking care of yourself. That's the key. Attraction isn't about competing with 20-year-olds in the gym. It's about being the best version of yourself at your age. A strong walk, clear eyes, clean clothes, a body that shows discipline, not neglect. And here's the bonus: when you invest in your health, your energy rises, your posture improves, your mood sharpens, and younger women notice it not because you look younger, but because you radiate vitality. The unattractive habit is letting yourself slide into decay. The attractive alternative is showing that you still honor life by taking care of the vessel you live in, because nothing is more magnetic than a man who respects himself. Habit 6. Overcompensating with money and gifts. There's a classic mistake older men make with younger women. They assume the only way to keep her attention is to buy it. So he takes her to expensive restaurants. He showers her with gifts. He flaunts his financial stability like it's the ticket to her affection, and at first, she might smile, she might accept, she might even play along. But inside, she knows the truth: this isn't generosity, it's compensation. And nothing kills attraction faster than feeling like someone is trying to buy your presence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Younger women sense when a man's value is internal versus external. They admire the man who is rich in spirit, not the man who tries to cover emptiness with a credit card. I once heard a younger woman say this about a man who kept showering her with gifts: "He thinks he's winning me over, but it just makes me feel like he doesn't believe he's enough without them." That's the danger. When money becomes the primary strategy, it communicates, "I don't trust myself to be enough." Now let's be clear. There's nothing wrong with being generous. There's nothing wrong with enjoying nice things. The unattractive habit is when money becomes your substitute for presence, depth, and connection. Think about it this way: if a woman only values you for your wallet, then you haven't won her, you've rented her. And here's the ironic twist: the older men who stop trying to impress with money and instead impress with grounded presence end up being more respected. Their generosity feels real, not manipulative. So ask yourself, am I giving from abundance or from insecurity? Because one builds admiration, the other builds resentment. Habit 7. Complaining about age instead of embracing it. This last one might be the most important. Have you ever been around an older guy who constantly makes jokes about being old? He says things like, my back isn't what it used to be, or you'll see what it's like when you get to my age, or enjoy it now because when you're older, it's all downhill. Now he thinks he's being funny, but what she hears is bitterness. And bitterness is poison to attraction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." That line is a thunderbolt. It reminds us that complaining about age is pointless. The years you've lived are gone. The only thing that matters is how you carry the years that remain. Younger women aren't turned off by your age. They're turned off when you turn your age into an excuse, a crutch, a constant complaint. Because every complaint communicates, I am declining. I am defeated. I have given up. But the man who embraces his age, who says, yes, I'm older, and that's a privilege. That means I've seen more, learned more, endured more. That man radiates strength. I once knew a man in his late 60s who loved saying, every year I grow older, I become harder to break. And you could feel it when he walked into a room. His age wasn't a weakness, it was his armor. Younger women respected him not because he denied his age, but because he carried it with pride. So here's the truth. If you treat your age as a burden, younger women will feel it as a burden. If you treat your age as a gift, they will see it as a gift. It's not the number of years that pushes them away. It's your attitude toward them. Closing. So let's recap the 7 unattractive habits younger women hate when older men do them. 1. Showing off instead of being present. 2. Acting desperate for validation. 3. Talking down instead of talking with. 4. Clinging to youth instead of owning your age. 5. Neglecting your health and appearance. 6. Overcompensating with money and gifts. 7. Complaining about age instead of embracing it. If you recognize yourself in any of these, don't feel shame. Feel opportunity. Because awareness is the first step toward transformation. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations for an audience. He wrote them for himself, as reminders, as corrections, as guidance. And that's what this video is for you. A reminder, a guide, a chance to step into the version of yourself that not only attracts women, but earns respect, admiration, and love. So if you've made it this far, remember, attraction isn't about pretending. It isn't about clinging to what's gone. It isn't about compensating with gifts or complaining about life. It's about embodying dignity, about living as if every day matters, about being so centered in yourself that others can't help but be drawn in. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.